actually is the fate of the wicked? Hello, this is Billy Anger, and thanks for joining me again on this installment of Defending the Bible. You know, Jeremiah chapter 12 and verse 1 leaves many thinking people scratching their heads. And the reason I say that is because in this verse of Scripture, the prophet understandably is wrestling with the fact that so many unrighteous people are enjoying prosperous lives, seemingly never being touched by concern, by hurt, by sadness, by sickness. He asks the question in the aforementioned verse, why does the way of the wicked prosper? Why are people happy who actually deal so treacherously? Job was another man that experienced the sting of suffering, as have few men, and he groped with that exact same apparent behavioral discrepancy. He asked the question in Job 21 and verse 7, why do the wicked live and become old, yes, become mighty in power? Asaph was the director of music for temple worship during the period of King David. And one of his most provocative songs is discovered in Psalm 73, where he freely admits his envy of the wicked. He is sincerely wondering in that song if living for God was worth the sacrifice it required. He struggled to reconcile how it was that God allowed wicked people to flourish while righteous individuals suffered. These are passages that we've just cited that clearly show the prosperity of ungodly people. Now comes the Inquisition. Now comes the barrage against biblical integrity, because there are passages in the Bible that speak about unrighteous individuals struggling as opposed to prospering. Passages that speak about the suffering of the ungodly seem to be, some would say, at a contradiction with biblical integrity. Let's start with Proverbs 13 and verse 21, because it makes a statement that does in fact seem to challenge the former passages. It says, adversity pursues sinners, but the righteous will be rewarded with prosperity. Interesting thought. Psalm 34 and verse 21 communicates a similar theme by saying, evil shall slay the wicked, and those who hate the righteous shall be condemned. So what gives here? Can an argument be made for inconsistencies in biblical teaching as it regards the fate of the wicked? The answer to this question can be summarized in two words: momentarily and ultimately. Let me say that one more time, because the answer is very simple. It can be summarized in two words: momentarily and ultimately. Sinners frequently seem exempt from suffering the natural consequences that come as the result of immoral behavior. Some seem to be immune from external hardships, physical wounds, financial losses, and smeared reputations. Take it one step further, these people seem to have no struggles with their own conscience or show any type or any expression of remorse. But this is what's so vital to understand and remember. While the wicked may momentarily prosper in this world, their fortune will only last a brief time. The length of their prosperity is really imperceptibly small in relation to the limitlessness of eternity. The Bible teaches in Psalm 7 and verse 11 that God is angry with the wicked every day. That's a biblical principle. It doesn't change. Christians must remain focused on the eternal rewards ultimately granted for faithfulness and the inevitable fate of the unrighteous. There should be a perpetual celebration for believers. Our lives have been changed, and therefore our eternal destinies have been reclaimed. Instead of our fate being the recesses and the caverns of suffering in hell, it will be the bliss and the joy that is found in the presence of God in the dwelling place called heaven. So in conclusion, we look to the Bible as it gives a great piece of advice in Psalm 37, verses 1 and 2. And there we discover these words: "Do not worry because of evildoers, nor be envious of the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and fade as the green herb." There is no contradiction in Scripture when it comes to the fate of the wicked. Remember those two words, momentarily and ultimately. The wicked do oftentimes prosper momentarily, but ultimately their fate is everlasting destruction. Thanks again for joining me on this installment of Defending the Bible. If we are in your area, check out our schedule on the website, billyanger.com. Stop by and visit. I'd love an opportunity to meet with you. If you have a question that you would like answered, simply drop me a line at my email, billyanger@hotmail.com, and I will do my best to get that answer published, whether in email form through the weekly newsletter or on one of our installments here on the Amped Internet Broadcasting Station. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us today.